So we have coming straight to the point, I think we have a very interesting panel here because I was thinking before the panel, are these guys the largest advertisers for the digital industry? Are these guys the largest potential publishers? Or are they the largest technology providers? And I think by the end of it, I concluded that they actually wear all hats, right? When I look at Arun, he's probably one of the largest advertiser as well. And then maybe if I look at it from a mobile digital perspective, he's probably the largest publisher as well. So I think we are up for some interesting perspectives and more, I would say we were discussing outside and what we agreed was that we will take it more at the macro level and since multiple stakeholders, we have mobile, television, .com, consumer durables, technology. So I think we just thought that we'll see how we can at an industry level, make some suggestions, which will basically, push more ideas and get some scale to the industry. So maybe a good start would be that if everybody can give their 2 bits on what is your expectation from the medium, right? And it's like, as they say, rights comes with duties. What is your commitment as well, right? So of course, like I've heard a lot of sessions where people are talking about, this is what I want, this is what I want. But when it comes to opening the wallet, it's a, so what is the expectation and what is the commitment? That's the question.
Thank you, Harish. For me, as a marketing representative from the industry, my first expectation with any medium basically is to help us reach out to the consumers that we want to talk to and possibly do it in a way which is different from the way we have been doing earlier or different from the way that everybody else is doing. So therefore, the biggest expectation is that can this medium connect me with my target audiences better? And therefore, how can the medium, the people who are involved in the medium, what are the practices that they are evolving to have more effective communication? I'm deliberately saying communication and not advertising because through the course of the last few years, obviously everybody has realized that this is not only about advertising. There's a lot more happening which is about engagement and conversations, which this new medium, digital medium actually affords us. So obviously that means from that expectation springs the requirement that you need new capabilities. And one thing that we very strongly believe in is that if we are going to turn the paradigm around, then you've got to have people who will learn or who have already learned to do so. And companies like LG, we do have whole departments sitting there, people who've been doing this for years. So I've got a department of about 4, 5, 6 people who are involved in digital marketing. And that includes people who have grown with us, and that includes people we've hired from outside. So the biggest investment that I can think of with a relatively new medium for ideas is to invest in the people who will generate the ideas and to build their capabilities. That's it from me.
Commitment.
See,
we can't pass the mic till the time you give some commitment. There are a lot of media
crores.
sellers sitting here.
Okay, 20 crores.
Is that 10% of your budget?
See, the thing is, Harish, it's without being facetious, I can say that.
No, that was a joke.
No, of course. But wherever there is good connect with consumers, wherever the marketer finds that he's able to get more value out of, they will put the money. I mean, 5 years ago, LG was spending maybe 1 crore rupees barely, okay, on digital marketing medium. This year, 2012, we are going to be spending in excess of 40. So where you find the value, automatically the money will flow. I don't think this is a question that, that needs to be asked at all.
Okay, awesome. So 40 crores LG. I hope everyone has noted.
Nowhere near that figure for me, but I'm no way as large advertiser as LG is. I think there's 2 different hats that I guess I wear. One, of course, being a marketer for the brand that I represent, but also largely we're a media, right? We're a media provider, we're a broadcaster, and therefore also a creator and publisher of content. Now, as far as my medium is concerned, we're very one way. We put out content and we let people decide for themselves as to what they want to watch, what appeals to them and what doesn't. And then on a weekly basis, we get to actually know what they did like, what they didn't like, and what the future of our content is. Now, while we may certain reasons back and forth as to why that's going to work, I feel one of the main reasons that the digital medium appeals a lot to us marketers in the media domain is that it gives me real-time ideas of how to leverage this medium into broadcasting communication about my brand and what my offerings are, but more importantly, gauging interest as far as what I call viewers, everybody calls consumers, is that I can turn around and obviously in real time gauge what is the traction being achieved by certain content, certain programs, certain ideas that we're putting out to the consumer, and not really spend huge amounts of research monies week on week in focus groups trying to ascertain what's happening. Now, if we build communities across social media, which we have done, and then maybe smaller numbers of those can be appropriated to understand really what is in that content which is appealing, then that really has worked for us. That's something that's worked. It's not to say we don't invest in ideas which create traction with the consumers only in the online medium, but at the end of the day, it has to link back to my original offering, which is television, which is content. So while I invest in the medium, the returns are, ROI is going to be a term you're going to hear a lot. The returns are manifold for me, and I think that is the power of this medium, that it's not just about simple one-way communication like my medium does, which is I'm creating this, I'm putting it out there, enjoy it. It's also, this medium allows me the benefit of achieving an idea of how it is being received in real time. Apart from that, I think as far as investment is concerned, we are bullish. I think my year-on-year spend on the digital medium has grown in the last 3 or 4 years, and it has gone from being simple display advertising, broadcasting information about what we're going to play out, to actual applications on mobile and digital platforms which let people engage the content that we have, as well as creating communities across social platforms to keep them enriched, keep them engaged, test their affinity for that content, and then plug back those holes as we see them into creation of further content. So I'm loving it.
Hi. Okay, my point of view is that, first of all, I'm saying, though I don't want to boast, okay, but not only we are one of the largest guys, but we also are one of the largest guys who have got the largest internet spends. I'm talking about the non-e-commerce companies, okay, who has one of the largest digital spends. One of the companies who can boast of one of the largest ratio of digital to overall media spends also. But I'm telling you, this was not the case. So if I'm putting the second question first, there's no doubt about it, okay, that almost all the advertisers, we especially, are extremely committed to digital, okay. Just to quote an example, I'm thinking only 2 years back, our total spends was less than 2%. Okay, this year it's going to cost 10%, okay, of our total spends. And in 2 years' time, I'm just telling you, the digital, not this year, this year will be the third largest, but in 2013-14, I'm clearly saying that digital will be the second largest medium for Airtel.
Excellent.
Okay?
Awesome.
So, and that too on that base. So that is the kind of commitment. But why I'm telling you, and the real change which actually happened in 2011, this year actually, if you ask me, this was an inflection point. And I'm telling you, there is a learning there, okay. Before 2011-12, okay, all the ideas which actually we got from the publisher, okay, all they were actually in the domain of awareness. And the question we asked ourselves, that if I have to do awareness, okay, first of all, it is not my real problem, okay, because I am to actually Airtel is anyway the most in the telecom space, Automa is the highest. So I am not going to build awareness using internet at actually a cost per with the CPM, which is like 10 times higher than any other medium. So you are not solving my problem, you are not understanding my problem. So when we got an idea, okay, and I'm just telling you, Rishi is also here, okay, when they came in the idea of actually hosting IPL on web and all, we struggled to actually spend money on that, though we were the largest spender on television. Simple reason was because it was actually offering only awareness to me. So that's not actually but the moment we realized, okay, and we came a lot of solutions which were in the engagement domain and actually in the transaction domain, then our spend increased like anything. And Rishi and I were just discussing today, I'm thinking probably very soon we will have the largest advertiser on Ghana.com. The reason for that is, one of my big problem right now, which we are facing with, is actually how to increase my Hello Tools franchise, how to increase my actually VAS franchise, okay? And we are actually struggling because my Hello Tunes has plateaued, okay? And Ghana.com is one of the largest guys actually in the music domain. So if through Ghana.com, actually I can send more Hello Tunes, then actually we have got a case. That deal happened in no time, and actually which was much bigger than actually their flagship property called IPL. So I think the key point here is that how well the publishers are understanding the need of the advertiser.
So will it be fair to say, unlike the general perception that advertisers like Airtel need the big idea, it's more about the cool idea, it's more about the business solution and not the big idea?
Absolutely. I think we have done all the cool ideas. I think for us, the bigger idea is the idea which allows us to engage with more number of people. For us, the big ideas is the idea which actually helps us to sell more. Okay, we are not, I think, beyond that doing some fancy things. Okay, which
So
some brownie
Airtel is
points
also a
within the
performance
system.
client from today. It's no more a brand client.
Yeah, I think there was a time then, I think every client goes through that evaluation phase where, for 2 years back, for us also, it was the cool thing to be on digital. Okay, so, in every forum, in every meeting, we were asked that what are we doing on digital, okay? And there was too much of pressure to do something on digital. I think we are beyond that right now, okay? The pressure is not there anymore. In fact, what we are now concerned about, what big things we are doing on digital. So I'm just trying to tell you is that we have just recently done something very big on YouTube. We had our own channel, Airtel HFZ Hangout. We recently did a big campaign on Facebook, okay, which was around tag a friend kind of application and all. And in both the cases, we had a brilliant idea, and that idea actually got generated. It came from the publisher and came from the app developers. And when we had an idea, we actually backed it to the hilt.
Thank you.
Sure, thanks. As my colleagues have actually told, fundamentally, the topic really is about what are we investing in ideas. And I think from a technology player like Avaya, what really has been coming to our mind, and we've been talking to a lot of companies, both from the brand side as well as from the contact developer side, is that fundamentally social media, and as we heard in the morning, is going to be one of the key ways people are going to get influenced. Fundamentally, but as Gaurav really mentioned that today it's almost like a one-way communication. Even if it's two-way communication, fundamentally the reaction to that two-way is not really instantaneous, right? Because it's important to really being able to understand the moment of truth of the tweet or the message on Facebook as to how it is affecting a brand. I think that's where people are really looking at saying how effective is my money spent of the brand on any of these social media. And I think as technology players, the ideas we bring in is, can we respond to these tweets or to these Facebook messages on real time? The question is, do we really want to respond to all of them? The answer is no, right? Because we all know that 70 to 80% of these messages really don't affect my brand to a large extent, right? But should we ignore the balance 20-25%? The answer is no. Right? And if you heard of famous examples of Aisha Takia or some of the telecom operators, how they have reacted, the question is that how much has it affected the brand? And that's the important message we want to drive is, can we be able to weed out those messages or the tweets and being able to respond to people on social media, whether it's a positive or a negative. So if it's a very good program on Sony TV and people have said good about it, can I communicate back as a brand to those consumers and say, what do you like about it? But that has to be instantaneous because the media, the social media is all about real time. It's not something where you can come back to the client and say, can I respond to him next day? Or maybe few hours. Can it be instantaneous? I think that's where some of the ideas we're trying to build in with people both on the brand side and on the contact developer side, saying, can I be able to respond? I think that's going to be, that's very, very fundamentally important because it's all about building the customer experience. Right? The customer, and people are really investing a lot of money, both on the brand side as well as on the platform side, saying what really net value it brings to me. What is the return? Right? I mean, people really spend a lot of money on it, but what is the return? Can it be quantified? Commercially, yes and no. but from an experience perspective, I think it's great. So I think some of these technologies really have to come in when you really want to build the 360-degree view of the customer and see how I'm able to react to it. So the commitment which we have as a technology player is to really talk to people like you all, understand what are the challenges you're facing, how are you able to really get the return by putting in these, because I mean, everybody is willing to spend, right? There's no question on that. The question is, what am I getting in return, and can technology really help in providing that? So that's from our side, actually.
Thanks. Okay, so probably as one of the only publishers here, I can talk about our commitment. Early last year, we kind of realized the way we were selling needed to be changed, needed to be tweaked slightly. And we said, can we, while display is growing and growing at a fantastic rate, we've grown at about 45% year on year in display, but is there a more of a solution selling, that we can do? And, to kind of touch on what Arun said earlier, we said, let's kind of verticalize our sales. Because the current method was one size fits all. We'll kind of focus on display and we'll sell the network. But we said, let's look at the strength of each one of our verticals. Let's look at the content strength of the Times of India. Let's look at the strength of an Economic Times. Figure that it's a different audience profile. It's a different audience set. And we kind of verticalized that. And we created a model called Demand Plus. Now, if you look at traditional advertising, banner advertising on digital, it's about need identification. So you have your banner that's out there, and it's all about audiences. It's about as many clicks as you can get. And we said, no, let's make it about who's clicking rather than how many clicks. And with Demand Plus, we said let's get into the need creation space. So we'll collaborate with the brand owners and understand what is your core objective. And we have teams, we have the product teams, we have the business teams now who actually collaborate, sit across the table. We have multiple sessions where we try and understand what is the final end game for the publisher. And I think most of, at least us seeing an increased investment from the brands and all have happened through this collaborative method.
So, Rishi, sorry to interrupt, but I've heard some serious commitments here, right? If clients like LG and Airtel are saying that their commitments to digital is in double digits. Yeah. I think I think the ball has gone into the other court, right? I think the ball is now in the court of the digital industry, and where I would want you to bring up a little bit, highlight some things, not just as India Times, but more as Indian Internet. Yeah. That if I was Arun today, or if I was LK, I'll say, dude, I'm ready to spend 10%, 12%, 13% of my budget. Do you have it to give me the scale? Do you have it to give me a solution which moves the needle? Okay, it's cool, it's nice, it's awesome, but is it something which by the end of it is showing me a clear, some sort of an impact in this month's P&L, right? Sure. Is there something that you as a publisher, or you see something in the industry that is happening to,
Definitely. Okay. So I think if you look at traditional advertising, what were the ways you measured success? You look at your sales figures at the end of the month, and you figure, okay, if there was a spike during the time for campaign, that lent itself to the success of a campaign. On the digital front, we've always been talking about how effective, how kind of great it is for targeting the right customer, the consumer, and in many ways we've discounted it for better or worse. I think today, while the onus is on the publishers to kind of step up and say, let's create brand solutions, let's look at what we can do beyond what we're doing, I think it's also on the publisher to kind of say, let's break out from their own old kind of mindset, and let's kind of, even internally within the organization, try and move away from being apologetic about the digital medium and about being apologetic about why some campaigns work and some campaigns don't, and understand what's the long-term play out here. If you look at the way video advertising is in the States, clearly when they're building out ads, it's meant for a different audience. It's meant for an audience that's more viral, that's going to be more social, that's going to share. It's going to be more interactive. Whereas out here, we still got that one-size-fits-all for television commercials thing. The same TVC, which is your 20-second spot, should do well on IPL. It's not going to happen. Understand there's a different audience. Understand that you have to make some investment when it comes also in saying, okay, let's get a little more creative on that front.
One thing that I'd like to kind of flag here is that what what had been done earlier in conventional media, whether it is television, print, out of home, whatever, was mostly a product was created by the media suppliers, and mostly for mass, okay, and then it was kind of marketed to marketers, right? Now we are in a talking about a medium which doesn't work that way at all, and frankly, a lot of us don't even understand it fully. Okay, and I wonder if there's anybody who understands it fully. The need of the hour is to customize things as per what a particular brand or a client wants. Okay, because their situation will be unique, their target audiences will be behaving in a certain manner, in a very unique manner, perhaps. Okay, and the commitment that I would like to hear from the media supply side should be that I will do my best to customize my solution for your target audience in line with your needs, because this medium lends itself so well to be flexible, to be convoluted in this way or that. I think that is one of the biggest commitments that media supply can make. And you will find then that the commitment of monies will flow.
No, so I actually think, for at least for the Times Group, it's a commitment that we've already met. We've moved into a space which is clearly branded solutions. If you look at the blog network that we've launched, clearly we said let's look at creating audiences that are of some interest to a particular advertiser. And while it might not be a complete fit with what the topic of the advertiser is, so it doesn't have to be a telecom, it's with the audience profile that the advertiser is looking at going after. So this is a longer term play. And this is where I'm saying that, if you're going to move away from that impulse-driven click on banner kind of mindset to advertising to a very need creation where you look at long-term, a sustainable audience, someone that's going to come back, then there has to be a more collaborative approach to even content solutions, brand solutions, and that's clearly what we're doing. We have about 7 or 8 success stories over the last year where we've created something. So in Economic Times, we created something called the CMO Hub. We created something called the ET Executive Drive. Now, while this was about cars for executives and various content around that, it clearly catered to an audience and a profile that someone like a Toyota or any other high-end car manufacturer would be looking at targeting. So in that sense, we are looking at a solution that way. But I'm saying that today there is like I said, there's a mindset that needs to be there needs to be a shift. And also there needs to be some sort of education. And forums like AdTech help because you have the rest of your team coming in here, they're opening their horizons, they're understanding the capabilities of digital, and they're looking beyond those your statistical and any other kind of measures that we use today as a benchmark for success. I think we need to look beyond those short-term tactical benchmarks and look at far more strategic goals when you look at digital too.
Yep. Arun, LK brought up a very interesting statement here. He said, not that we fully understand it. And I think that's something which I've been in the industry for like 10, 15 years, have sat on all sides of it as a buyer, as a seller, as a technology provider. And I myself am like generally confused. How ready you think your organization, our industry is to, in terms of is there is it simplified in your head? Have you demystified digital, or do you think there is something that you have as a sharp suggestion that what we need to do, which basically improves the communication exchange between the advertisers and the media owners and allows you a more easy pick and choose approach, right? Because I've seen most clients being very, very confused.
That's true. This is one medium. The more we are trying to understand, the more we are realizing actually we have not understood anything. Okay. So the only thing which we have understood that we have not understood anything. Okay. But jokes apart, what really heartens my heart that the kind of rapid change which is happening in this industry is phenomenal, and some very good stuff is happening right now in India. I'm very happy about 2011, 2012, the kind of things and there's a lot of maturity it is bringing. The kind of, I can see in the last 3 months, we have met so many foreign partners and app developers and all who have been operating abroad, but now entering India. Okay, and it is enhancing our learning of the whole thing. But the more we are actually understanding it, the more we are actually also wondering that how to deal with. One of the big problem right now facing us is that, money is not at an issue. I think I've already answered it. But what is the big problem facing us is actually the lack of big ideas. Okay, and unfortunately, right now, all the app developers I'm saying Google and Facebook are not generating ideas. Okay, they are the horizontal platforms. Someone else has to actually generate ideas to leverage those. So unfortunately, those companies are very small in nature. Okay, so they come out with one idea, we execute that, and then in the next month we again are back to square. Then what do we do next? Okay, so we did HFZ, and it was a brilliantly successful campaign on TV. So we created something on Tag Your Friend. Then what? Then we actually did
So you're saying
something
there's
like
a need for some sort of an ideas exchange platform.
yeah.
where-
So what we are actually, and I don't know how it is going to happen, but if there is an exchange, if I actually be in a forum, okay, or something like this, where actually I get to meet with 100 people, okay, and who actually can throw idea at me, okay, there is every possibility that actually I will be able to execute one or two of them, okay. So what I believe is that right now, the problem which we are facing is actually the pipeline of generating ideas is a bit narrow. And if there could be a platform of generating ideas, then actually it will drive spends like
Very
anything.
interesting. So you're saying money is not the problem, solution providers are there, but there's a pipeline issue that the pipeline needs to get broader and you need to get more ideas and an easier, simpler solution to pick and execute.
That is one. And the second problem we are facing that we just don't have the metrics to measure the impact of web. Okay.
Okay,
Now,
ROI.
we are measuring clicks and we are measuring the total number of people on our community, but frankly speaking, we don't even know if this is the best way to doing things or not. Okay. So what matters eventually is that we have got an input in terms of ideas and spends, and the output which is more in terms of our brand health scores going up or the sale going up.
So let me challenge you on that a bit. Are you more equipped or less equipped to measure the impact than you are on television or print when you spend on digital? Let's live life in relativity, right? Maybe one big mistake which the digital guys did was set up wrong expectations that everything is over measurable, right? But let's compare it with when you spend $100 on digital and you spend $100 on television and then radio and then print. Even today, when you really feel unhappy that I'm not able to measure enough, which other medium exceeds the amount you can measure on digital?
On digital, you are saying that?
$100 you put on newspaper ad and $100 you put on India Times. Let Rishi be happy. You can still measure something on India Times, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And how do you measure on print?
Okay. Frankly speaking, it all depends actually on the problem.
why so much
It
of,
all depends on the
worry
problem.
about-
Okay. For
yeah.
example, okay, if I am trying to sell something, okay, then digital can do a much better job, and I can measure it directly. If I am collecting leads, okay, for my 3G dongle, I can measure it much more effectively on digital than actually I can do it on print. But having said that, if I want to measure the brand impact of moving brand health scores, okay, then actually I see that we are able to measure
So
television
it
much
goes
better
back
than
to
actually
the
what we
problem
are
of
using.
scale, which we started with,
Yeah.
right? That
And-
because the scale is not there at a macro level, you can't see the needle really moving.
One is that. The second thing is for a brand which is operating on across all platforms,
Yep.
to segregate the effect of only of digital is a big challenge for us
Got
right
it.
now. But hopefully, I think I'm thinking today we are 100 million, probably when we'll become 200 million, and there will be even better measuring techniques and all, then probably I think we'll be able to do it. But for the time being and all, I think that's a bit of a challenge.
Yeah. LG, I've done some work with LG in my past life, and I think you're the most aggressive sales organization I came across. And for a medium which is an ROI-based medium, do you really look at the digital spends as marketing spends, or you would just put up a metric and let's say how a travel advertiser or a jobs advertiser says, cost per CV X, give me unlimited CVs, or a cost per booking on ticket, give me unlimited this thing. So have you also derived any sort of an ROI metric, or is there an expectation of that sort where you'll say, I'll link it to sales and now the floodgates have opened?
Well, the organization is very sales oriented, no doubt. But I think we'll be doing a disfavor to the marketing guys by saying that, listen, everything has to be related to a specific sales ROI or thereabouts. I personally believe that we are tending to, over expect and over measure things from digital. I mean, what Arun just mentioned, that in a multimedia scenario, how do I segregate the effect of digital versus other things? I say forget that. Many years ago, when there was no digital advertising, who bothered to segregate the effect of outdoor versus a print versus a television versus word of mouth or whatever? Okay. So now when digital has come in and now we think that, we can pinpoint who's going where, etc. Now this expectation has suddenly come up. Frankly, if you ask me from a marketer's point of view, what is enough for me is that there are enough number of consumers that I can target, or even if there's a lesser number of consumers, maybe there's some niche marketing that can be done. And there should be clear ways and practices which I know will somehow or the other communicate with them. Okay, so yes, I do need to measure some things. For example,
that was my question, right? Yeah. What will make you spend 2 times more? What is your ROI expectation?
The ROI expectation is not in terms of, it should give me 38% return on investment versus, the money spent, etc. Okay, finally, there are many ways to do this. One is proof that you are able to reach people. Proof that you're able to interact with them. Okay. Then the other one is measurability of the impact on brand metrics. For example, we have done surveys, okay, on the net, okay, and it is possible to do that. And you can segregate the effect of saying that when I do a campaign on Facebook, this is how my metrics move versus those people who don't get exposed to my campaign on Facebook. And we have seen very clear metrics. I mean, double the level of brand preference or intention to buy, etc. Those things have been measured. So, what I'm saying is that we shouldn't flog the internet medium to death like this. Okay, simply by saying, oh, we need to measure every single thing, we have huge ROI expectations. Come on, you have ROI expectations from everything. Right. But to what end are you going to measure? Okay, just for the sake of measurement? Or for me, it is enough that I get proof that I was able to reach people. For example, GRP is proof that you reached somewhere, right? Right. GRP is not an ROI metric. Okay, but it just means that I spent my money and I was able to reach 80% of the people for average OTS of 5 times, therefore my GRP is 400. That's just proof of reaching. Right. And many places on the internet medium also, you just need that measurement and probably not beyond that. Yes, if you are going to start talking about lead generation and lead management and leading to sales, or there's e-commerce, etc., yes, there's a clear money metric involved, but not everywhere.
So, Gaurav, for you, right? One of the easiest way to increase the size of our industry is let's increase the prices. And, without anything, tomorrow our industry will grow by 20-30%. And the standard crib that I've seen across all us digital guys is that we are selling our medium very cheap. Look, learn lessons from the TV guys. The impact that we create in $1, they charge $5 for creating the same impact. Is that true? Do digital guys need to revise their pricings? Are they also putting pressure on the television guys to, bring their prices down because digital guys are selling it so cheap?
To answer the first question, the first part of it is what, my dear friend Arun said in the, we were having an offline chat earlier. He says, I'm a strong believer in market dynamics dictating what the price should be. We were just having a discussion on the IPL and he was like, the market decides the price, okay? And sooner or later that equilibrium is reached. So I'll go with that.
But they are the largest mobile publisher as well. They have a vested interest to define the wrong price, right?
Which is true. So we notice this a lot. This whole cartelization of bringing down prices occurs across industry and across modes of reach out. But my point is this. You are offering a price for a certain service or reach that you are commanding, and the market is either accepting it or it's not. Okay. Similarly, we have the same dynamics within our industry where we say, okay, we believe this content is going to work. We go out and pre-sell it. Some advertisers catch on, some advertisers don't. And at the end of the day, the ones, if we deliver, then some people get over deliveries and they're very happy about it. And some people who got missed out. Similarly, the reverse happens in where they didn't invest in the property earlier and they feel, very happy when it didn't deliver. In the digital medium, I guess it's not, as someone was saying, that it's not a question of properties that you create. It's present all throughout. So if I'm launching Indian Idol now, or if I have the IPL coming up, I am pre-selling it, saying this is what the past is, this is what the medium is. This is what you're guaranteed of, almost based on past results. But having said that, we know that there is a finite window of opportunity there, both for us as well as for the advertiser. You either bank on it or you don't. And then other properties kaka. As far as the digital domain is concerned, you have an opportunity to invest or not invest, but that opportunity is continuous. It'll keep coming. I mean, no one is offering fixed term solutions to your brand unless you're in the market with the campaign and need to, in a certain amount of time. So if you have the money and you believe in the product, you're going to invest. I think pricing is based on the amount of, the scale that you can achieve, the amount of reach that you have. We're 560 million strong as far as cable and satellite is concerned. The digital medium is smaller, but that's not the point. The point is my particular need to reach out to that consumer, which is defined by my target audience. Is it well served on what medium? And my cost per acquisition, if that's the intent or whatever it is, which medium deserves, delivers that the best to me?
So what I heard was you're saying scale and packaging is what digital industry needs to focus on.
Absolutely, brand fit.
So I don't binary answer, because I think we're running short on time and I want to take a few questions from there as well. If let's say the largest publisher today reaches 40 million people or 50 million people, fast forward 2 years, the largest publisher is reaching 150 million people. The offerings are better packaged. Will the CPM rates go up or down? Because then we've answered the question of scale, right? As an industry, I understand today that scale is one big question and packaging is the second good question, right? So will that take the prices up or down?
I'm just giving a parallel of what happened in other industries. Okay, for example, on television, okay, the guy, okay, who is the top, the highest reach channel, always commands premium. Okay, I'm talking about cost per contact. This is the guy who's actually number 10th. So in media per se, there will always be a premium, okay, in terms of CPM, okay,
Or reach.
Of delivering reach. So that's a basic fundamental cardinal rule of media, okay. So if someone is delivering huge, I'm saying 80 million audience in one shot, okay, then per CPM, they will actually command a premium over the other guy.
Awesome.
So I think, so that is a case beyond a point. And the smaller guys will always struggle in that case. So hence, it is very, very crucial, okay, that the scale has to be there.
So the small guys need to go to the ad networks in that case.
So the small guys have to then think about that they have to offer something which the big guys are not offering, because the problem with the big guy is the big guys, they can offer reach, but they don't offer flexibility.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm sure that's the reason I'm saying in India today, I'm saying there are some now 400 channels.
Yep.
I'm sure most of them are there because of some reason, and I'm sure they are making money in some other way. So you have to find your own calling, you have to find your own way of selling things.
Yep. Thank you.